Good morning, everyone. So, in this class, we'll see the model number 5 of your Triple M subject, which will be talking about the measurement of the force, torque, and pressure. Okay. So, and we'll see one by one. So, in this class, we'll see about the torque measurement. Okay, how the torque is going to measure. Okay, so there are different methods of measuring the torque, and usually to measure the torque the dynamometers are used. Okay, so there is a one dynamometer which you can see it on the screen, that is a Prony Breck dynamometer. Okay, so it is also called as mechanical dynamometer. And how it is going to work, and you know what is the torque. Okay, how to measure the torque also you know. So what is the torque? So the torque will be force applied into the perpendicular distance, correct? So the T is given by T is equal to F into L, that is force applied into perpendicular distance. Okay, so this is what is called as a torque. So usually this Prony Breck dynamometer is used to find out the torque. Once you find out the torque using the formula 2 pi n t divided by 60, you can find out the power. Okay, understanding? So what we are going to do here is, this is the flywheel, okay, from the machine. What is the power generated by this flywheel? Suppose if it is connected to the engine, what will be the power generated by this flywheel at the end? That we have to calculate. To calculate that, we have, this is the arrangements. Which are the arrangement? It is having two wooden blocks. This is, one will be above, one will be below, means these two will be opposite to each other. This is the flywheel, and this is the shaft. Okay, this is the shaft which will be rotating this flywheel. Okay, and these are the two wooden blocks which are kept opposite to each other, and this is the rope which is tied between lever and the wooden blocks. Understanding? So this is the lever arm, and this is the rope. This is one rope, this is the another rope which is tied. The rope is used to tie this lever and the wooden block. Understanding? So what will happen is, at the one end you will be applying the dead weights. Okay, at the one end you will be applying the dead weights, and this flywheel will be rotating because of the shaft. This is the shaft which will be getting rotated because of the engine, and in turn this will be rotating the flywheel. And on the one end you will apply the dead weight. Once you increase the dead weight, this lever is going to apply the brake using these two wooden blocks. That is why the tightening arrangement is given, which will tighten the lever as well as the wooden block. Once you apply the load dead weight at this end, this lever is going to move up and down, which will apply the brake to this flywheel, which means it will stop the flywheel. The rotation of the flywheel will be stopped by applying the dead weight. So here what will happen, once the dead weight is known to you, you can easily calculate the force. Suppose if it is a 10 kg, multiply by the gravitational force will become the force F. Okay, and multiply by the distance, whatever this perpendicular distance L is there. So then you will get the torque T, which is the Newton meter. Then using this torque, you can easily calculate this power P. Okay, this is how this Prony Breck dynamometer is going to work. So how to, I will show one animation video which will be explaining about this working principle. You just watch the animation. In this animation video, this explains you the working principle of the Prony Breck dynamometer. So you can see the arrangement here clearly. So these are the two wooden blocks, and this is the lever. and this is the counterweight just to balance this lever. Okay, so both sides the weight will be applied just to balance this lever. Okay, or you can fix this end and you can apply the weight at the other end. So these are the two stops just to stop this lever movement, and this is the rope which is tied between the lever and the wooden blocks. The two ropes will be tied using the normal nut arrangements and all. Okay, so here actually where your flywheel is going to rotate. Okay, so this is the pulley, or you can call it as a flywheel also, which will be rotating because of the engine. So now here what you have to do, you have to increase the dead weights at the other end so that it will apply the braking action. Okay, so the lever will move upward and downward and it will apply the braking action using this wooden block. So once it applies the braking action, so this pulley will stop. Means this pulley has to stop, then only you can note down the weight, whatever the weight is applied here. So that is what it is shown in the animation. You can see the animation. Okay. Once it is done, then you have to note down the weight applied. So just multiply this weight with the gravitational force 9.81, you will get in terms of Newton, and the perpendicular distance from this end to this end, that is L, will give you the torque T. So then using this torque, 2 pi n T divided by 60 will give you the power in terms of the watt. What is going to happen in hydraulic dynamometer is, using the water, okay, using the water, you are going to apply the braking to the housing. Okay, so here it is like a another view of diagram which they have drawn. This is the housing. Okay, this is the entire housing, and this is your blade, or the, which is, you can call it as also the flywheel. Okay, and here this is the shaft which will be getting rotated because of the engine, and this shaft will rotate this blades. Okay, and because of the contact with the water housing, this entire housing will start rotating. Whatever this outside entire housing is there, it will start rotating. Okay, so this shaft will rotate this arrangement, which will be having the radial blades, and which is connected to the water and in turn connected to the housing. Because of that, this entire housing will start rotating, which means whatever the speed these radial blades are having is converted to this housing. So once it is made rotating, using some other modes of action, this housing will be stopped. Okay, like applying the brake, how you applied the brake in earlier dynamometer. In here, how you made some arrangement to apply the brake, some other arrangement will be made here to apply the brake to this housing just to stop it. Again, once it is stopped, the remaining process is same. Whatever the force is generated to applied to stop that housing, that will be noted, and that you have to easily calculate the power from the rotating shaft. That is rope brake dynamometer. So in this rope brake dynamometer, again it is a very simple concept, just like your pony brake dynamometer. This is the wheel which is connected to the engine shaft, which will be rotating, and it will be having a rope. You can see the rope here, and this is having some 4 wooden blocks, and it is connected to the dead weight and the spring balance. Okay, here what will happen? This wheel will be rotating continuously, and using this dead weight arrangement and the rope and wooden blocks arrangement, this rope will come in contact with this rotating shaft, and which will apply the brake. While applying the brake, there will be lot of frictional forces generated, okay, because of the contact between the rope and the flywheel rotation. Some lot of frictional force will be generated. Just to avoid that, the cooling water arrangement will be kept, okay, in between the rope and the flywheel, okay. So, and this flywheel will be stopped. Once this flywheel is stopped, using the spring balance arrangement, you can note on the reading, and then you in turn you can calculate the what you call the power, okay. So this is the another arrangement used for measuring the torque. So again, if you see the animation of this, the animation is very simple. This is the animation which will be explaining the rope brake dynamometer working principle. So the rope will be there, which will be having some 4 wooden blocks, and it is having a spring balance arrangement, okay, and the dead weight connected, and this is the wheel connected to the engine shaft which will be rotating, okay. Then what will happen? Using this dead weight arrangement, you will bring this rope in contact to the this rotating flywheel, which means you will increase the dead weight. So that time it will stop the rotating flywheel. Because of the contact between rope and flywheel, there will be some amount of energy generated. Means when something is rotating and if you suddenly make it stop, some amount of heat or the temperature will be generated. Just to avoid that, the cooling water arrangement will be kept in between these two, okay. And after that, using this spring balance arrangement, and the means when you apply the dead weight, this spring balance arrangement will show you some reading. Using that reading, you can measure the torque, and then in turn you can measure the power. That is again the same formula, which is 2 pi nt divided by 60 to measure the power of this rotating shaft. Okay, when you apply the dead weight, this rope will come in contact with this wheel, which will stop, okay. So this is the animation about your rope brake dynamometer. This is about your torque measurement, which will be having 3 types. That is, one is mechanical dynamometer, that is Prony brake dynamometer. Second one is hydraulic dynamometer. Third one is rope brake dynamometer. This is about the torque measurement, and next is temperature measurement. Okay, this is the arrangement of this rope brake dynamometer. So how the arrangement will be, okay. I think this kind of arrangement you can see it in your energy lab, okay. So in the coming semester, if you do the energy lab, there you can see this kind of arrangement, okay. And next is the temperature measurement. So those are the 3 types which are used for measuring the torque. This is next is the temperature measurement. There are various laws of temperature measurements, okay, like law of thermocouple, law of intermediate temperatures. All those laws we'll see. But before that, there is one more thing called as optical pyrometer. How this optical pyrometer is going to work, the working principle of optical pyrometer. What will happen in this temperature measurement? This is the heated source, which will be continuously sending the heated radiations, okay. So these heated radiations will pass through this objective lens, and they are made to fall on this filament, okay. This filament, based on the temperature range, the color is going to change. Say if it is 1800 to 1900 temperature degrees Celsius, then say this color will be red. If it is 1500 to 1200, this color will be orange. If it is 1000 to 800 to 1000, this color may be green. Like this, based on the temperature range, this filament color is going to change. In turn, usually what they will do, they will set some temperature range to this filament, if this temperature, whatever the maximum temperature of this and this is same, you will not see the filament only. I think that image is missing here, that I will show in the next class. So this is how you are going to measure the temperature measurement. Okay. So based on the range, usually this color in the sense, whatever this eyepiece is there, from this end you can see what is the visible of this filament. Okay. If the temperature ranges matches, you will not find any filament here. Okay. So this filter is kept just to avoid the harmful rays to the human eyes. Okay. So this is how this optical pyrometer is going to work. This is about the temperature measurement. There are many types of temperature measurement devices which we will see in the coming classes.